The South Park school bond issue has been defeated. There will be no new high school. But underneath the ashes of a lost cause, there remains bitterness and frustration.
I'm terribly disappointed because, for one thing, as CACs get out the vote, Chairman, I worked awful hard. I worked very hard. In fact, I got myself into some ticklish situations. And I don't feel as though CAC nor Dr. Taylor did all they could in terms of getting people informed as to just what the real issue was. I just don't think black people have had the kind of leadership that they're deserving of. Because as bad as black people in Beaumont have been up to this point, hey, they've been bad. They vote for all the wrong things, for all the wrong reasons, at all the wrong times, or they don't vote at all.
The former mayoral candidate was arrested over an incident last Tuesday in which it was alleged that he disrupted the bond issue. He also allegedly struck a voter, but he says that isn't true, and another gentleman's insult started the incident.
It was frustration and an insult. I'm not taking too many insults. The gentleman insulted me. He questioned my manhood. He got up out of his chair as though he was about to strike me. This white gentleman. The insult that he heaped upon me when he rose from his seat to protect those ladies, when in fact, you don't have to worry about me striking white ladies. That's not what I want. That's not what I want at all. I don't have any desire to strike a lady. None. In fact, I would have, if I had been really wanting to hurt that man, I would have hit him with this.
And Holloway says he intends to sue over the incident.
Beaumont Police Department, in connection with Jefferson County Sheriff Department, I'm going to be suing those people.
Scott Lawrence, Channel 6 News. Signs of the holiday season's arrival are everywhere, and for young and old alike, the spirit is infectious, a spirit which has pervaded the Jefferson City Shopping Center in Port Arthur. Inside, many customers are sticking to practical items such as clothes and avoiding frivolous gifts which lose favor before we can ring in the new year.
Well, I imagine I'll probably have to spend more money for the things that I will buy, but I'm not going to buy anything extravagant. I think I'm stay pretty much all just on a clothing basis.
Well, you know, with the strikes coming up and everything, we don't know there's going to be one, but we'll try to prepare for it. I'm not going to splurge on anything frivolous.
Right. For many, the totals are just as high as the last holiday season. Pens lose their ink to the checkbooks, which thin noticeably this time of year. But this year, dollars are spent on items of winter warmth. No one can afford to foot the bill for unnecessary gifts. This year, people are giving the boot to impracticality.
We are seeing buying basic clothes, not going out and buying, say, real heavyweight jackets. They're going more for a poplin jacket, which they can wear year-round.
Although our economy is facing difficult times and people are buying items more practical, Channel 6 News hopes that you won't forget those who are less fortunate than yourself. At the Jefferson City Shopping Center, Scott Lawrence, Channel 6 News.
It's a lost antique art that's won Cindy Harwood worldwide attention. The art form doesn't require pencils, chalk, paint, or brushes. All it takes are scissors, paper, and a very keen eye. It's called Silhouette, named after its inventor some 200 years ago. Even though Cindy didn't come up with the idea herself, she's been the best at it for nearly 12.5 years. Cindy says it's a flattering art. With black paper, she doesn't show wrinkles or blemishes, and she can do anything the subject requests. Cindy can cut away double chins or curl straight hair. She can make short eyelashes look longer. She can turn a cotton t-shirt into a chiffon blouse. Cindy's hands work quickly, too.
I don't know how I do it fast. It's just something that's natural to me. I have a photographic mind or a quick mind, and I sketch quickly as well. And I see things, and actually the art should be done quickly. You get a smoother line. Like if you look at this is all done with scissors. The line quality is very smooth, and if I did it slow, it might be scratchy. So I think that's why they put such a big importance on artists doing it quickly for silhouettes, and I'm supposed to be the world's fastest.
Cindy finished this portrait in about 30 seconds. That's faster than it's taken me to report on her talent and say, Karen Hayes, Channel 6 News. If you've got a lot of family and friends, then your Christmas shopping list will be quite long. And most of us have probably waited till after Thanksgiving to do our Christmas shopping. Well, we went to Parkdale Mall today, and like myself, everyone is under a lot of pressure to get those Christmas gifts bought. Karen Hayes, Channel 6 News.
With the declaration by the district judges, your chance of getting a jury summons has been increased. Before, there were 30,000 names selected for possible jury summons. Now there are 125,000, or every registered voter in Jefferson County. The new system will put these names on a computer roll to be used for 3 years. That's instead of the 1-year system as is currently in use. Because of the 3-year period, you will have about a 1 in 4 chance that your name will be randomly selected. In 3 years, the computer will select about 90,000 names for possible jury service. There are several reasons for going to the new system. The first is that it has been mandated by the Texas legislature. The second, the new system will save money. And the third reason, it will be more equitable, where every registered voter in Jefferson County has the opportunity for jury service. From the Jefferson County Courthouse, Roger Daniel, Channel 6 News.
Two objections were raised against SB Houston Associates, objections that threatened to disqualify the consulting firm. Some task force members felt that previous work done for the Island Recreational Development Commission would bias the firm's report. And then it was revealed that a senior staff ecologist with SB Houston was related to the director of the Pleasure Island Commission.
The previous work that was done was with regard to getting a permit from some government agency that had to do with the ecology, the impact ecologically of the area, and so therefore it had nothing to do with the potential of a shipyard at all, or any other industrial site. The task force is charged with the responsibility to select the consultant. We believe that that job has been fairly done. The relatives that provided a potential conflict, we have been told, will not work on this study.
Burns says a clear majority chose the Austin-based firm, which agreed to do the study for $7,000. But he acknowledges that not everyone was satisfied with the choice.
There will continue to be conflict. That is the reason that a citizens task force was appointed to select a consultant, to try to remove as much conflict as possible, emotional conflict. It will not remove all of it, but I believe it is the best route that we could have gone, and we will get a fair study done.
That study will be reviewed by the task force in late December and then forwarded to City Council and the Pleasure Island Commission. In Port Arthur, Lynn Sue Glass, Channel 6 News.
Beaumont police and fire officials say it happens every year around this time. People drive to the shopping centers and instead of parking here, they park here in the fire lanes. Well, both the fire and police departments will be out in full force issuing tickets to violators. And this year, the tickets are $10 instead of $5.
All the agencies out are going to be working together, and if there is a violation in the fire lane, they will receive a citation, and that's going to involve a fine of $10 if it's paid within the first 5 days. But after that, it doubles, goes to $20 fine. It's a lot easier just to go ahead and use the designated parking area.
Police and fire officials say it is not difficult to find a parking space, but many people think just because they're going to be inside a few minutes, there is no harm in parking in the fire lanes. Fire officials say those people are wrong.
There are designated fire lanes, and these are established for our use in emergencies. They're designed so that a pumper can get in there, have easy access, a snorkel unit or an aerial truck in case there is a major fire or any other type of an emergency where apparatus needs to get in there. They are going to be clearly marked as fire lanes, and it's very important that they are kept clear at all times, even just.
Police and fire officials say the bottom line is, if you don't park in a fire lane, then you don't have to worry about receiving a $10 ticket, which, if not paid in 5 days, doubles to $20, and a warrant could be issued for your arrest. Jim Oliver in Beaumont, Channel 6 News.
Back in October, a representative from the Washington-based U.S. Chamber of Commerce came to Orange. The on-site survey was the final step in processing the local chamber's application for accreditation by the National Chamber. After the representative's report, the Orange Chamber has been accredited. The value of the accreditation?
The process we had to go through to get it, and that is the process of our forming 7 different committees that broke our entire chamber operation down into seven different areas, and measuring them up against other chambers and up against other standards that they've known provide effective chambers. So I think it's the process that's really important more than the actual achievement.
Already the process is responsible for bylaws changes and interior remodeling of the chamber. Through the process, it's also been recommended the chamber be more outspoken on local issues. The Washington group also commended the Orange Chamber as one of the few small chambers that was instrumental in legislative efforts that aided the passage of the Reagan economic package. The accreditation is for a 5-year period. From Orange, Wayne Sparrow, Channel 6 News.
Again for the candidate of choice, but with our election, of course, there's only 2, so you really don't have to. Oh, I don't want to be on TV.
Oh, you won't be.
Yeah, I think you might just break 1,000. Okay, I think we've got. Oh, you want to get some more?
No, I've got it.
Yours first try? All right.
Really?
Thanks so much.
In 3 months, South Park has transported students by bus more than 250,000 miles. In that time, drivers have been involved in only 3 accidents, all minor. No students have been injured. Director of Transportation James Clodio says South Park's safety record is as good as any school districts in the state.
We're quite pleased with the way it's going at this point. It's gotten so much better, you know, since we first started, naturally.
Clodio says there have been few discipline problems relating to desegregation, and he says mechanics have done a good job in preventing breakdowns. Many parents are concerned about buses using freeways, but Clodio says that's necessary.
When we can use an access road, we do. But at times we do have to, you know, naturally use a freeway, but it's for a very, very short period of time or short distance.
Clodio hopes new buses will shorten driving time and make the trips more comfortable.
2 or 3 routes, we still have some standees, and we'd like to eliminate the standees. And as soon as we get these additional buses, we can eliminate these standees.
Assistant Superintendent of Business Paul Drawhorn told Channel 6 News that a San Antonio firm which has the successful bid on 6 additional South Park buses has told the district that those buses, which were to have arrived sometime around Christmas, will now be delivered sometime between the middle of January and February. Scott Lawrence, Channel 6 News.
The West Orange Cove School Board won't meet in the administration building as usual, but will meet here in the Brown Center of Lamar University. The meeting itself will be a little bit more than usual, with trustees expected to hold a lengthy workshop session on possible major school district expansion. School Board President Dr. Joe Ben Welch explained the items to be considered.
In most cases, they are major. The main one, as far as cost, potential cost, would be the central administration building. We have the central office administrators that are actually housed all over the district currently. We need to make some improvements there, and we do have several options to explore tonight. Other areas will be libraries on several campuses need expansion. Physical education activity classes and facilities on several campuses, particularly the North Campus, need some attention. Parking lots, pavement, this is a major problem all over the district.
Now, would there possibly be some more regrouping or re-evaluations of the way some of the campuses are used as they are today?
Yes, that's a possibility. We don't see, or I don't anticipate getting a recommendation tonight that we close any campuses, but we may consider changing the utilization of some existing campuses.
Now, will all of the campuses in the district possibly be affected?
I think in the reports that I've seen, the staff will be recommending some major modifications on virtually every campus in the district.
Now, will this entail a possible bond issue in the future?
At some point, if everything that's recommended is eventually accomplished, yes.
We'll keep you up to date on what happens. From Orange, Wayne Sparrow, Channel 6 News.
Last week, one of the 6 Cuban nationals arrested and charged in the Winnie drug bust was erroneously released from the Jefferson County Jail. The inmate had been placed in jail with bond set at $500,000. A bondsman serving the prisoner posted a $50,000 bond for his release. By mistake, the inmate was let go.
Right now we're faced with a problem of human error on part of a jailer who misread the book-in card, which had the right amount on it, and had the amount that he let the man out on it also, which shouldn't have been there.
As for the mistake made by the jailer in not reading the booking card correctly, Hawthorne says only half the blame can be placed there. The other half falls on the shoulders of the Commissioner's Court for not granting the Sheriff's Department enough manpower to run the jail properly.
When the inmate was released on the lesser bond, how many people should have been working and how many actually were?
In the particular area, which is the book-in desk, there should have been at least 3 people working. There was 1.
The Sheriff's Department is conducting a thorough investigation to make sure nothing is wrong on the part of its employees. Officials want to make sure there were no bribes involved, and so polygraph tests will be run. As for the inmate that was released, Channel 6 learned today that he will be presented in court Friday by his bondsman for arraignment. A new bond is expected to be set at that time. Terry Elliott, Channel 6 News.
The 9th Congressional Chair of Southeast Texas is turning into a very popular seat. The 2nd Republican and 5th candidate has let it be known that he'll be on the primary ballot. John Lewis, a construction businessman from Friendswood, was introduced to the media by Dale Wittenberg, the Friendswood mayor. Lewis is a conservative, making the economy the focal point of his campaign. He puts the blame for our current recession on the Carter administration and calls it part of the continuing philosophy of the last 20 years.
I want to help replace those who have caused this inflation and recession and who are blocking the recovery and who continue to punish the working people of this country.
Lewis points the finger at Congress for our current economic problems, and specifically at Jack Brooks, who he calls part of the problem.
So yes, our congressman is part of it. He's part of the team that has set up these conditions and continued it for at least 15 years, and it's been growing for better than 30 years.
Lewis will face Frank Urbanek on the Republican primary. Democrats who have announced are Tom Combs, Doug McLeod, and Bubba Pate. From the Jefferson County Airport, Roger Daniel, Channel 6 News.
This week's Crime of the Week focuses on a brutal rape that occurred in Beaumont's West End. Crime Stoppers will pay $1,000 this week for information leading to the arrest and grand jury indictment of the man responsible for this act. The rape occurred on Thursday, November 19th, 1 week before Thanksgiving at about 10 a.m. in the 8300 block of Willow Bend. The man first appeared at the front door and he told the woman he needed to shut her power off to the hot water heater because of a water leak outside. He went into the house, but after seeing the woman's brother was at home, he went out to the electrical breaker box and appeared to turn off some of the breakers. He then left. After the woman's brother left for work, the man came back to the woman's door and said he could turn the water heater back on. He then went through the house and turned the breakers back on. When he followed the woman back into the house, he grabbed her from behind. He showed a knife to the woman and demanded that she cooperate. He forced the woman to the bedroom and placed a sweatshirt over her head. He then tied her hands behind her back and threw her on the bed. After committing the act, he tied her legs to the bed, went through her purse, and then left. She freed herself by cutting her bindings with a pair of scissors. She went out the back door of her house in time to see the man leaving in a blue pickup truck with an antenna on the back as he drove away. This is a police artist sketch of the rapist. He is described as a white male in his middle to late 20s, about 6 feet tall and weighing between 200 and 250 pounds. He was wearing a plaid shirt, dark pants, and lace-up type work boots. He was wearing a yellow hard hat with the word water across the front. Someone must have seen or been approached by this man in the same manner. If you have information about this case, call Crime Stoppers at 833-TIPS. Callers do not have to reveal their identity, and Crime Stoppers will pay for information on any felony case.
Officials here in the Orange County Attorney's Office tell Channel 6 News they have information from what they term reliable sources that the so-called ski mask rapist could be responsible for the Bridge City rape that 42-year-old Clarence Vaughn Williams has been sentenced to 50 years in prison for. In Baton Rouge, Louisiana today, 30-year-old John Simonis of Lake Charles was sentenced to 231 years in prison. The so-called ski mask rapist was sentenced on armed robbery and theft charges after pleading guilty. Lawmen also say, however, Simonis could be involved in almost 100 rapes in 9 states over the past 2 years. During a confession today, Simonis reportedly linked himself to a Bridge City rape. The rape in question is the April 1979 assault of a woman, her daughter, and abuse of her son that Von Williams has been convicted of. Orange County District Attorneys confirmed they have been notified and are going to Baton Rouge for further investigations. Clarence Von Williams remains here in the Orange County Jail, pending a defense motion filed in November for a new trial. That motion states in part that Von Williams' guilt was not proved beyond a reasonable doubt. We'll keep you up to date. From Orange, Wayne Sparrow, Channel 6 News.
The fate of Hebert and South Park high schools is not in the hands of students, teachers, or administrators. The school board is to decide which school must be renovated, but that decision will be based, to a great extent, on the recommendations of architects and engineers. The Galuski-Johnson Mechanical and Electrical Engineering firm has been surveying both Hebert and South Park since last Thursday. Mr. Galuski told Channel 6 News he is personally surveying both schools with respect to plumbing, site drainage, lighting, ventilation, and heating and air conditioning. He will evaluate those systems at each school and place a comparative ranking on them. The major element in each ranking will be the relative costs of repair and renovation. Galuski told us his study may not be completed in time for Sunday's board meeting, but he says he will have preliminary results so the board can make a decision. The architectural firm of Steinman, Gordy, and Huffines has also been surveying both Hebert and South Park, studying the structural strengths and weaknesses of the facilities. They have also been looking at the number of rooms in each school and the purpose of each room. Hebert's principal, Joe Bryant, told Channel 6 News the architects have been in every room of his school, asking if the facility could handle 1,800 students. Bryant says he and students are anxiously awaiting their fate, but the answer won't come until Sunday. Scott Lawrence, Channel 6 News.
City Hall is quieter today. All the ballots have been counted and the last 3 seats on City Council filled. In District 3, the new councilman is Charles Rhodes Jr., who beat out his opponent with slightly less than a 6% advantage. Victory went to Ronald Spooner in District 4. Spooner captured 53.1% of the vote to win that council seat. And longtime incumbent Bernice Sadler was re-elected mayor, but by a somewhat conservative margin of 13%.
I got less than 4% of the black votes.
What does that tell you? Are you troubled?
That tells me, yes, it does. It bothers me a little bit about this, because I was hoping it wouldn't be like that, but it tells me they're voting for a motion on a motion basis, and this is, I think, is wrong, but I can't help that. No.
Unsuccessful opponent Frederick Johnson says Sadler should heed the signs of discontent in the community.
Enough people got out to show City Hall that they don't control the city. The people still do. The people that even voted for him shows that there's quite a few unsatisfied people, because he would have gotten more people out to vote for him if he was as strong as he thought he was. I'll be up at City Hall quite often, just like being the mayor, because I'll be up there as much as he'll be up there, showing him what he's doing wrong.
It's a job. It's a job. It has its challenge. And I'm looking forward to trying to get dug in and try to accomplish some things. And we're not going to change too much.
The newly elected City Council will be sworn in at the conclusion of next Monday's meeting. After that date, the new City Council will take over the responsibility of governing the city of Port Arthur until election time arrives again for 4 members in April of 1983. At City Hall in Port Arthur, Lynn Sue Glass, Channel 6 News.
In August, President Reagan warned the professional air traffic controllers that a strike would put the controllers on a flight plan of collision with the government. Now the words coming out of the White House are much softer and showing signs of change in Reagan's policy towards PATCO. The president, trying to thaw his icy relations with labor, is considering rehiring the controllers. The plan under consideration would lift the ban that keeps the fired controllers from working at federal jobs until 1984. The spokesman for the president stipulated that this does not mean the president is thinking of putting the controllers back in the control towers, just allowing them back on the federal payroll. If the majority of the 11,500 fired PATCO employees feel the same as local air traffic controllers, there won't be a big response to the president's offer.
How do you feel about the president's latest proposal?
Certainly not
overly optimistic, a bit confused, like many of the aspects of that's happened over the last 3 3/4 months now.
There had been word from the administration there was the possibility of rehiring the fired workers as air traffic controllers. That's a possibility that appeals to Saxo.
Should we be given the opportunity to go back to controlling? That's what we're looking for.
The plan may affect only 3 people in the Triangle. There were 13 local PATCO members when the strike began. 2 chose not to strike. 8 have either gotten jobs or moved away, leaving only 3 former controllers still looking for a job. In Beaumont, Roger Daniel, Channel 6 News.
This was the notorious competition, the Rolling Outlaws, pitted against us, the Channel 6 News team. How original. The object of the battle was to play basketball in these wheelchairs. Before the game ever got started, the Channel 6 News team had to be coached. First by Coach Larry. And then by Coach Ivy.
When we bring the ball in down here, say you throw it in, you people come to half court. Yeah? You two, y'all come to the half court.
The other team didn't care much about coaching. They just wanted to play. But little did the Outlaws know that we were being coached on distraction strategy. It's a ruthless game tactic. Take, for instance, the way Ana Chavez uses her face. That could make someone fall out of their chair. And so PM photographer Jeff Diana did. All this destruction led Coach Ivy to scream. That became the Channel 6 battle scream. We got beat 27-11. I talked with the Outlaws coach today about future games. The team will put on a halftime exhibition at the Lamar basketball game December 8th, and then it's on to Corpus Christi.
That's right. We're going December the 12th. That's the weekend. We'll be there the whole weekend in Corpus. We're playing in the Southland Conference wheelchair basketball tournament that they're having in Corpus Christi, and it's just all the teams that are in this conference that we're playing in.
The game helped the Outlaws raise a little over $100, but they need at least $300 to get to Corpus. If you'd like to help, send your donations to the Rolling Outlaws, Post Office Box 2407, Orange, Texas, zip 77638. Terry Elliott, Channel 6 News.
According to local gun store owners, the number of women buying handguns has increased tremendously in the past couple of years. The reason? Possibly because violent crime against women is on the rise. Whatever the reason, though, the question of women owning handguns is controversial, and you hear as many yays as you do nays. This gun store owner sees a lot of female customers in his shop. He thinks it's a good idea for a woman to have a handgun.
It doesn't take but a minute to show you how to use one. And if a person will go out and test fire or go out and just shoot tin cans, you know, or they'll get the hang of it real quick. It's not hard to use a gun.
While it might be easy learning how to load and shoot a gun, the situation changes when a woman is in her home alone and an intruder tries to get in. And according to the Beaumont Police Department, that's where a lot of women get into trouble.
Innocent people being injured by the handgun or killed. A person wakes up in the middle of the night and they think that there's a prowler in the house. They grab the handgun, they fire at what they think is a prowler. It turns out to be a family member, roommate, or something like that. These are the hazards that you have with a handgun, as well as the fact that it's illegal to carry the handgun on your person in the state of Texas.
But these hazards aren't scaring a lot of women out of buying handguns. Police say if a woman buys one, she needs to know how and when to use it. We'll report on handgun instruction tonight on The Update. Karen Hayes, Channel 6 News. Learning the mechanics of loading and shooting a gun in the store is one thing, but the only way to feel comfortable with a gun is to actually shoot it. I went to the Beaumont Police firing range to test shoot some handguns that most women are buying. My instructor was Captain Jay Crutchfield of the Beaumont Police Department. The first thing one learns the first time she shoots a gun is that they are powerful. Captain Crutchfield showed me how to shoot a .38 revolver. The .38 holds 6 bullets, has quite a kickback, and is very effective in stopping an intruder. The second handgun I shot was a .380 automatic. I found the automatic easier to shoot than a revolver because it isn't as bulky. It too is powerful, and it will stop an intruder. Stop one, that is, if you don't miss. That's the biggest disadvantage of handguns. They're hard to aim, and if you don't hit the intruder, you might be in more danger than you were to begin with. Captain Crutchfield showed me something that in his opinion is better than a handgun. It's a shotgun. Shotguns shoot a spray of BBs instead of just one bullet, so you don't have to carefully aim to hit your target.
That's the difference between a shotgun and a pistol.
Guns are by no means the only way to protect yourself. Probably one of the best ways is just being aware of what can happen and never think it won't happen to you. Karen Hayes, Channel 6 News.
In a confession yesterday, 32-year-old John Simonis of Lake Charles reportedly confessed to the April 1979 rape of a Bridge City woman, her daughter, and abuse of her son that 42-year-old Clarence Vaughn Williams of Bridge City has been sentenced to 50 years in prison for. Vaughn Williams has maintained that he is innocent. He is still in the Orange County Jail pending a motion for a new trial. Simonis, the so-called ski-masked rapist, has been sentenced to 231 years in prison on armed robbery and theft charges in connection with the Louisiana rape. He is also wanted for questioning in 9 states on almost 100 rapes over the last 2 years. Within the last 2 years, there was also a rash of rapes in the city of Orange. In April of last year, a suspect was arrested and later convicted. Police reported at that time they felt most of the cases were therefore cleared. We talked with Orange Detective Kay Bowledge today to find out if all of those cases have been cleared.
When we're going to be talking about 2 different people, the first man that we arrested, like you say, in April of 1980, was responsible for clearing several incidents we had which occurred on the streets of the city.
Okay.
The other man that we talked to in November of 1980 was responsible for the incidents which happened in victims' homes. I talked to him quite extensively for at least 2 days in Beaumont, and he did clear up a lot of cases that I was unable to up until this time.
Okay. Now, with the arrest of these 2 suspects, is the police department confident that the 12 or the rash of rapes have now been cleared up?
Yes, we are. Okay. We have 2 convictions in these matters, and we feel confident that at this time the problem has ceased.
Did these suspects confess to these rapes?
Yes.
Okay. Are both of those serving prison terms now?
Yes, they are, to my knowledge.
Does that clear up all the rapes without a suspect in the city of Orange as of today? Or do you have any more on the books still?
We have maybe 3 or 4 still that we're looking into so far this year.
Okay. Is the ski mask rapist a possible suspect in those cases?
According to my knowledge of the cases we still have working, no, because the methods involved there's too much of a discrepancy.
We'll pass along the results of the Orange County District Attorney's investigation in Baton Rouge as soon as that information is made available. Wayne Sparrow, Channel 6 News.
Liberty Cablevision has a franchise agreement with each city in which it operates. In Beaumont, Section 6 of the agreement requires the cable company to limit failures to a minimum and to correct malfunctions 72 hours after being notified. The agreement also requires the cable company to render efficient service and to maintain an office in the city in which they operate. Since the movie channel or Showtime is not a basic service or a part of the cable system, the cities have no power to regulate it. So if you have Showtime and are not paying your bill, the cable company will either cut off that service or file theft of service charges against you. The cable company says it would rather not go that route, but sometimes they are left with little choice. The bottom line is this. Legally, the city does not have the authority to regulate Showtime, However, if you are having trouble or have a complaint about the showtime service, the city will act as a go-between to help you solve that problem. Jim Oliver in Beaumont, Channel 6 News.
Texas highways are still full of motorists who drive with no liability coverage on their automobiles. But a law passed by the recent state legislature will change all that. The compulsory automobile liability insurance law will become effective the first of the new year. Every Texas motorist will then be required to have minimum liability coverage and will be required to carry proof of coverage at all times. But in what form will that proof have to be carried? We ask an insurance company executive.
Most of the larger companies are going to be sending out identification cards. The cards are not required by the law. You can have a copy of your policy or a card.
This is a sample of what the insurance identification cards will look like. Of course, the other option is to carry a copy of your policy, much like this one. Insurance companies are supposed to start mailing out ID cards by December 15th so that drivers will have them by January 1st. Another question raised, what if a motorist buys a liability policy, receives an insurance identification card, and then cancels the policy? How will law officers know if that person really has liability coverage? We consulted a Department of Public Safety trooper about that.
One of the things we're going to do is we'll say we stop someone for a violation of some sort, and we ask them for the insurance, and they produce it, and we might not be quite convinced that it's valid or still in effect. So what we'll do then is call into our headquarters and have them check with the company where it may have been issued and see if it's still in effect.
Penalties for a first offense of the law is a minimum $75 fine and suspension of your license. Terry Elliott, Channel 6 News.
Americans are free to practice their religion, any religion, without fear of government retribution. In Russia, that freedom does not exist. Georgy Vins can attest to that fact. A religious dissident who was exiled from the Soviet Union in 1979 in exchange for 2 Russian spies, he now travels throughout the United States, explaining the widespread religious persecution which exists in Russia. He says Russian souls hunger for the Word of God, but their only sustenance is the verses written in their hearts.
After the invasion of Afghanistan, persecution has gotten much worse. All religious groups, the Orthodox, Pentecostals, Baptists, all denominations are being persecuted by the government. Right now there are 125 Baptist pastors and active workers in prison, and their conditions are very difficult. There are artificially difficult conditions created especially to punish them, with the goal of destroying them, killing them.
Vins was in a Siberian prison camp for 8 years, but he says he loves his country, although his people are robbed of God and the Bible.
There are house searches of people's homes to confiscate Bibles and other books. Sometimes the police come to our worship services and beat those who are present. And Christians have been put in concentration camps, in prisons, and even in psychiatric hospitals for their faith.
Vins says in America we close our eyes to pray, but we see God. He says in Russia they close their eyes in horror, but he says someday they too will see God.
I believe that there will be a period when there will be religious freedom in the Soviet Union because it's a country that has never had such freedom. I'm a Christian and I'm praying for that.
Others also pray with him. Scott Lawrence, Channel 6 News.
The LifeMark Recovery Center in Port Arthur is just one of 3 places in the Golden Triangle that a problem drinker can seek medical treatment. This particular unit in Park Place Hospital handles about 300 patients a year, and it has a near 70% success rate in getting alcoholics to continue their recovery with Alcoholics Anonymous. Director Bob Alario says there's a reason the program is so effective.
We believe that people get people well. Our philosophy, our basics of our philosophy is that groups get people well. And the alcoholic we find is an individual that has isolated himself from society. He needs to be surrounded by people that are doing the same thing.
Richard Griffin is a recovering alcoholic who went through the LifeMark program a year and a half ago, but he says he still remembers how it was.
I had lost what a fragile grasp I had on what I considered sanity. I discovered that my life revolved around nothing but being away from the real world. And I got tired of it. I didn't like myself. I lost me, and I wanted me back.
Centers like these can only treat the physical symptoms of alcoholism. The drinker is still the only one who can control his attitude.
There's no cure for the disease of alcoholism. Once the alcoholic stops drinking, then he has some living problems, and he has to learn to deal with those living problems. He has to learn to cope with life, if I should say that, in order to keep himself relatively happy so he doesn't have to drink again.
We'll take a look at how a recovery center can teach an alcoholic to cope with his life tonight at 10 on The Update. Lynn Sue Glass, Channel 6 News. Coming to an alcohol recovery center like this one at Park Place Hospital is only a problem drinker's first step towards sobriety.
Recovery process is a lifelong thing.
Okay, I'm an alcoholic and I know I have a problem. My family has sent me here and I want some help. What are you going to do with me?
Well, first off, if you're like most of our patients, and like myself when I came into treatment, was we're going to need to detox you because you're going to be toxic. That usually lasts just a few days. We try as fast as we can to eliminate the alcohol in the system and make it as comfortable as we possibly can by using sedative-type medication. Shortly after that is when we're going to put you in the therapeutic group. And that therapeutic group is going to meet throughout the day and evenings. Each night, as soon as you're physically able, we're going to send you out into the AA community.
But alcoholics also rely on the support of loved ones and family members. Carrie Hamilton explains what she learned while trying to help her husband stop drinking.
That you are not responsible. You do not make the alcoholic drink, and you will not make them stay sober. And that you yourself have to recover. You yourself have to take care of you alone and no one else. There is no one else in this world we can control their feelings, their actions, their emotions besides ourselves. We have to love other people for the way they are.
It's one of the things that people don't understand. We've got to be willing to give up everything else to have ourselves. We've got to understand if we go back to drinking, we're going to give everything up anyhow. We're not going to have anything. And with that, we just trudge right through the road to recovery.
In Port Arthur, Lynn Sue Glass, Channel 6 News.